Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. I'm so thankful for all the support we've had on this channel, helping us grow, helping us just develop this platform, this community that has been behind us over the last few years. And I'm very, very thankful for everyone out there. And hopefully, everybody's safe and enjoying their time. Part of my Thanksgiving tradition is watching the Dallas Cowboys, for better or for worse. And it wasn't even for worse today. It was for embarrassment as we lose to the Washington football team, the team with no name, 41-16 in Arlington. And I'm I always try to have just understanding of it as a fan and removing myself and saying, okay, from a practical standpoint, how does this look? How does this play out? And just breaking all of this down. And the Marcus Paul situation, I want to start there. Rest in peace, Marcus Paul. It's really, really sad. Our strength and conditioning coach suddenly passed away yesterday, age of 54. Fell, I believe, unconscious at start of practice on Tuesday, and there was a lot of misreporting there. And following day, Wednesday, passed away, age 54. Big loss for the NFL. The NFL community, um, you know, won multiple Super Bowls, part of some great organizations, was a player for the Chicago Bears, and had an enormous impact on this football team. You saw the emotion pregame during the moment of silence, not just with the players, guys like Leighton Vander Esch, but also the coaching staff. So, and for those who don't realize, like, your strength and conditioning coach spends as much face-to-face time as any coach on the staff with the players, and is a big part of setting the tone for the culture in the locker room. So when you lose a person like that and somebody who was so highly respected and loved by everyone around him, that is going to impact this team in some way. You mix that into the emotion of playing on Thanksgiving week. It's a very short week. We played a game on Sunday afternoon, late Sunday, against the Minnesota Vikings. It was a big emotional win. We're right here in the thick of the division race, starting to find ourselves after losing Dak Prescott. You kind of have that Monday where you kind of get your treatment, heal up, watch your initial film, maybe do a little bit of installation. Tuesday morning, you're ready to hit the ground running and have that one good practice before walkthrough Wednesday, Thursday game day. And then this situation happens. So Jimmy Johnson spoke on that pregame about, hey, they're going to come out, try to play inspirational football and that whole win one for the Gipper and all that energy. But at the same token, it's still a test. And it's a test against somebody that knows you very well and has a lot of confidence against you and just beat you a few weeks ago. And as much inspiration as you have, at some point, preparation comes into play. And I wonder how much preparation this team really, really had truly coming into this game during this week. And I think we have to consider that because they're human beings. And I know how I would be if I lost a coworker and somebody who I looked at more than a coworker, but that was a friend. And now I have to go and do my job just 24, 48 hours later. I'm a professional. I'm going to give the best effort I can, but there's going to be some type of drop off. Now, that does not excuse everything that we saw in today's game. The Washington football team, I'm going to start here. The Washington football team has no respect for the Dallas Cowboys. And what do I mean by that? When you look at when we played in FedEx Field, Andy Dalton gets knocked out the game, and not one Dallas Cowboy came to his defense. Not one Dallas Cowboy said, you know what, enough's enough. We're not going to allow this. And I guarantee you the Washington football team took note of that, and they came in today with that same energy. Because now it's Alex Smith out there playing quarterback. It's not necessarily Kyle Allen, but it's still the same type of format. And I respect what Scott Turner and Ron Rivera came into the game and said, we're still going to run the football with Antonio Gibson because at the end of the day, this is the 31st ranked rushing defense. They can't stop it. I don't care how hot they've been. I don't care that they had one decent half against Dalvin Cook. We're running our stuff, and Antonio Gibson's gonna have a big day. And now they're talking about, well, not even talking about like he finished the day with like 3 touchdowns, and he's got 11 touchdowns, 11 games as a rookie. A lot of that is off our backs over the 2 games that they beat us. This is the respect level they had. They came out and ran the annexation of Puerto Rico against us. Or, we want to call it for Maruski or whatever. Like like when you start seeing stuff like that at the NFL level, like the Washington's not running that against the Steelers or the Ravens. But against the Cowboys, a team where it's like, yo, we can knock their quarterback out and they ain't gonna do anything about it. Yeah, they can get that done. And yes, I'm recording from an undisclosed location right now via Thanksgiving, so just bear with me. But there was no respect. Andy Dalton gets baptized by their team. He's out for a few weeks. They don't care. That's how these guys roll, and that's the culture that they have there. All excuses, not excuses, but the coaching staff, the coaching struggles are bad on this football team right now. There's no way around it. I know people want to talk about personnel and players and all that, and we will get into some of that. I praised just what 4 or 5 days ago. I was praising the hell out of Kellen Moore, and this is the level of ascension we need to see over the rest of the season, because he can't go from having what I thought was almost a career day as a play caller and seeing the step up in his development to having what he had today, where we're struggling to convert 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, and I don't understand the play calling. I don't understand not leaning on the run game. I get you lost 2 tackles in the game, and that's another kind of hidden thing behind this crazy week is the injuries that took place. Zach Martin goes down, huge. Cam Irving goes down, who had been playing well at left tackle, huge. Now Terrence Steele's back in my life, and he's terrible right now. So I get all that going on. You have to adjust as a play caller, though, as best as you can. Now you got to condense the playbook, so to speak. KYP, know your personnel. That's something that this staff struggles with, and because of that, that's something that our players struggle with. And you see that on offense and defense, because you see some guys, they're trying to defend. You cannot defend. What I mean by know your personnel, KYP, you can't defend or use the same technique against Terry McLaurin as you do with Cam Sims, right? Or Logan Thomas or whatever other receiver you want to throw out there, right? Like, depending on the personnel is going to depend on how you defend said person. Peyton Barber, much more physical back, is going to catch the ball. Antonio Gibson's one of the most explosive players in the league right now, was one of the most explosive players coming out of Memphis. How you defend those 2 people is going to be very, very different in terms of your keys and what you do to maintain integrity on not allowing them to do what they're best at. And right now, we don't even call plays with that in mind as well with our personnel. And I thought we were doing that so well, and at times, even today, early in the game, we hit the big play to Amari Cooper, where we were targeting Darby, but then we run a 4th and 1 at Fuller. That's a position of strength for Washington. I don't care if it's to CeeDee Lamb. It's too, that's not assessing the personnel and what's going on. I think that's a better opportunity to maybe run the football or run something else. But we're so inconsistent as a staff thinking about those things. It's very frustrating. And personnel wise, the defense is just hanging on for life. Because this game, I'm joking around. I mean, the game came down to the fake punt, and we'll get to the fake punt here shortly. But, at one point, us getting to Washington 20, Dallas 16 through the first 3 quarters and in the beginning of the 4th quarter, Mike Nolan's trying to manage. The defense isn't necessarily playing well, but we're hanging in there because Washington's not very good. They can't really push the ball downfield with Alex Smith. He's truly a game manager at this point, and he doesn't have the same mobility and athleticism he used to have. So everybody, they're just managing, and then they get their big play, whatever, from Antonio Gibson. or they have to run trick plays with Logan Thomas and do just all sorts of other stuff. But then we get to a point, like weird points in the game where we lose Cheeto temporarily. Rashard Robinson had to go take a dump, and he's out of the game. And now we're throwing Steven Parker in there, and somebody, I don't even know who number 33 was, Burton, I think it was. And we're throwing people into the game. And I love what Mike Nolan did, knowing your personnel. He's like, you know what? I can't play coverage right now because I have no corners on the field, so let me blitz the house. Let me send the house. And that's when we got the Jalen Smith interception. And he was walked down swiftly by Scary Terry. So we can put all that Jalen runs a 4-5 flat to bed, in my opinion. But we get down there and we run, we go the most predictable run to Zeke out of the gun, and then we do the end around. I've told you guys before on this channel about the end arounds in the short yardage in from 30 and in just don't have the same pizzazz for me unless it's a quick hitter and it's so long developing, and then CD drops the touchdown, and so we settle for a field goal. And this has been the recurring theme of us struggling with points and goal-to-goal situations since Dak has been gone. Andy was fine today. I'm not saying that he was necessarily bad until the end when everything kind of fell apart, but I can't blame him because he doesn't have his tackles at that point. You're asking a backup quarterback to make money with all these no, it's not going to work. But that's all. And I mean, everything has to be really right around him like it was in the Vikings game for him to have success. Now, Ezekiel Elliott is not helping. Right now, he looks washed. And you look at Antonio Gibson on the other side, who's also a product of Memphis, who's also very explosive, who's also a wide receiver turned running back. And it's like he's checking all these boxes of what we got from Tony Pollard. And then when we do see Tony Pollard really get those attempts, we see a little bit more burst. And it's kind of scary to the defense. But because of the contract, we can't play Tony Pollard as much. It just makes you think, when Zeke was in Cabo, if the Cowboys hadn't caved, if we had just rolled with Tony Pollard, try to get some other backs, kind of like what the Washington team is doing right now with just a couple other guys to complement, to fill all the areas. Maybe it's more by committee approach, what Dallas would look like today instead of paying $90 million to the bell cow that's already has all these carries on his body through Ohio State and now with us. Just makes you wonder, because Zeke clearly doesn't have the same burst. He has a fumbling problem now that is very, very real and costly. He just doesn't wow you like a 90 million. Like there's nothing, and he doesn't do enough in the passing game to like a Kamara or a Christian McCaffrey that you see those guys do. Like right now, like where do you even rank Zeke amongst his peers from a running back perspective? I get the offensive line struggles. I get the quarterback issue. And he did run well against the Vikings last week, and I was impressed with his patience and his vision. But then now I gotta say, where's the consistency, brother? How do we take such a giant step back? And that's why I'm like, and I'm seeing this other brother over here, Antonio Gibson, just running all over the place. So, and breaking huge runs. When was the last time Zeke really broke something? And maybe he's not that type of back anymore, but if he's not that type of back, you got to help me in a bunch of other areas. You definitely can't be fumbling the football. So let's get to the fake punt, because I'm tired of talking about Antonio Gibson / Gale Sayers. This fake punt ended the season. And it occurs at the beginning of the fourth quarter. A situation where I'm like, okay, punt the ball, play defense. We're only down 4, 13, 12, 13, 14. It was a lot of time left. Almost essentially the entire fourth quarter left to play. We're backed up, it's our 20 or whatever. Kick the ball away. Let's play, let's try to get a stop. Again, Alex Smith isn't doing anything crazy. As much as our run defense is struggling, I feel like there's at any point in time we can make a play and get this football back. And not only do we run a fake punt on 4th and 10, but we run one of the most chaotic, poorly executed plays I've seen. because when they flipped it around, so real time, it's like, oh, they ran a reverse to said Wilson, who has nowhere to run, and he gets tackled immediately. Fortunately, he got back to the line of scrimmage, considering where he was coming from. Then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it's Cedric Wilson though, and like pitching into him, he's thrown the ball before. We've seen him throw the ball on a punt return to C.J. Goodwin. We've seen them in the Eagles game when the Nooch was in there. They're trying to throw, have him kind of do the former quarterback thing and run pass option and all that. Maybe he was supposed to throw, and that was my whole thing. I've been kind of going back and forth on Twitter about this, and I see some people saying, well, the Cowboys have to be aggressive because the personnel is bad, and the coach we had before was so conservative, and blah blah blah. And I understand that to a degree. And I'm also seeing, hey, CJ Goodwin looked like he was kind of looking for the ball. The punter also rolled out like he was looking for the ball. But I never saw Cedric Wilson even remotely try to like plant his foot and throw the ball or even remotely look downfield. So it makes me wonder, if that many people are off cue, you only had a couple days to prep, somebody died this week. Is this the time to be hyper aggressive when you're in a 4-point game at the beginning of the fourth quarter, a very winnable game? Like, context matters. And to me, game flow matters. That's part of context, right? Like, sometimes my team does need a jump. Same situation, and yeah, we got to fake it. Whether it's down and distance scenario, whether it's I don't think we can remotely stop them and I got to do something crazy. I didn't feel that particular type of threat or context in this scenario. Therefore, you run a play, it's a disaster, kills the momentum. Antonio Gibson rides into the end zone shortly thereafter. The Washington football team goes on a 21-0 run to end the game. Now you lose 41-16 when it was 20-16 at the beginning. And that goes to the whole respect thing that I started this video out with, but they don't respect you. So I don't understand. Look how the Washington invested in the defensive line, by the way. Chase Young, who I've seen people in the DC area talking about, oh, he only has 3.5 sacks. He's a bust. We shouldn't have picked him. Shut up. That brother was all over the field today and on every play. And if you're saying that you struggle to understand the game and the impact a defensive end can have, Montez Sweat, Tim Settle, Jonathan Allen out of Alabama, like, they're going to be a problem for years. Regardless of our injuries and whatnot, this is something that Dallas is going to have to deal with. But please, Cowboys fans, take note on how these guys are built. Take note. Because that whole sequence, that fake punt not only ended the game, it ended the season. And at this point, that's why I'm like, yo, just go ahead and activate Bradley and Nye and Reggie Robinson. Let's evaluate the rest of these people from that we still have on the practice squad from the draft. We got people leaving the field to go poop. We're a hot mess express right now. But I still love this team. And I still want them to win. Lamar Jackson got COVID. It's like, all right, what's going to happen? Our next game is against the Ravens. Who knows? And I'm going to end the video with this. And it's something that has played in my head for 10 plus years, whenever this song came out, because it's the opening, or it's the chorus to a song that really explains my fandom in relationship to the Cowboys. And this could be applicable to the Longhorns as well, because I'm going to have to go through this exercise tomorrow. But it's a song by Tyrese and Chingy. Who knows where Chingy is today? If you know, please shout in the comments. But it's called Pulling Me Back. Some of you may know the words. Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back, telling me I need you in my life. Every time I try to go, something keeps telling me that everything gonna be all right. Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back, telling me I need you in my life. It was meant to be. You were meant for me, so that means we gotta make it work. Hear those lyrics and just understand that's where I'm at in my football fandom. And I'm processing this loss to a team I despise. But my team sucks. And here we are again as they pulled me back and did it to me again. And they'll do it again and again, and I'll always be here. And it's a 6-cycle week I'll go through. Anyway, I love you guys. All seriousness, happy Thanksgiving. Please be safe. I'll be back tomorrow. Texas content. Hit that like button. So thankful for y'all. Peace.